Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, His Excellencies Bapak Profesor Dr. Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono, Bapak Minister Agus Harimurti Yudhoyono, and Ibu, Bapak Dr. Edi Baskoro Yudhoyono and Ibu, all the ministers, vice ministers under the presidency of Bapak SBY, Professor Tetsuya Watanabe, Professor Nobuhiro Aizawa, and Professor Takashi Shiraishi. Our discussant also, Dr. Martina Talagawa, and all distinguished participants. I feel honored for the invitation to attend this ERIA's inaugural leadership lecture. And I'm grateful to be one of the commentators in the launching of the excellent book entitled Standing Firm for Indonesia's Democracy, an Oral History of President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono. The outline of my discussion is threefold. First, I shall comment briefly on the book. Following that, I would like to touch a little bit on my experience in teaching Pak SBY. When he pursued a doctoral program in agriculture economics at IPB University, previously named Bogor Agriculture University, and discuss about his leadership, especially on economic matters. And the last is conclusion. Firstly, on the Standing Firm for Indonesia's Democracy book. Honestly, Professor Shiraishi, I must say that this book is an excellent one. The book is enjoyable to read. It covers almost all important aspects pertinent to President Yudhoyono, yet the authors are capable of providing important details sufficiently. There are so many lessons learned could be gained from studying the book. Studying the book is almost like learning directly from Bapak SBY about his inspiring career and invaluable experiences. In short, I would like to congratulate and sincerely convey appreciation to the authors for their hard work and lengthy efforts to produce the book. It is highly recommended to read, not only for academia, politicians, prospective leaders, and the leaders, but also for students in general. Next is the thing that is very briefly mentioned in the book, but I think it is actually may inspire readers or a lot of students and young leaders. During his term as Menko Polkam in 2001, Bapak SBY started to pursue a doctoral program in agricultural economics at IPB University. Actually, this is one of the most tough postgraduate programs in IPB, as one must study such technical subjects as microeconomics, macroeconomics, and econometrics or statistics. It is true. Being one of the lecturers, I honestly say that Bapak SBY was a disciplined, consistent, fast learner, and very smart student. Never absent in the classes. Only very few permissions. And that is when he had to be in the meetings with his boss in the administration. So committed to the study, although undertaking a lot of duties. He obtained the PhD degree with distinction on dissertation entitled Employment Creation and Poverty Reduction through Agricultural and Rural Development, a political economic analysis of fiscal policy. This was few months before Pak SBY competed in the 2004 presidential election. I remember that during examination of the dissertation, an external examiner from the UK saying, SBY would better be a professor than a president. Then Pak SBY became president. Policy implications of the dissertation became essential parts of his economic policies in his first presidency. Following that, years, Pak SBY became a professor, just like the examiner said. So Bapak SBY achieved both. Now, I would like to touch on his approach to economic policy making. President SBY has deep comprehension on economics, and this also implicated in the book. Yet, with his leadership style, he liked to undertake many consultations, including with chambers of commerce and industry, labor organizations, the Indonesia Economic Association, Indonesia Society of Agricultural Economics, and others. He may have all the needed information from the ministers or from BPS. Yet, Bapak SBY fully aware that through these consultations, he obtained more accurate information about the reality as well as proposed policy options. Potential conflict of interest from any party could be minimized if not avoided. Moreover, democratic approach, political diplomacies, and good governance were effectively practiced. Once he decided a policy that had been formulated based on such a way, stakeholders in general complied or even supported the implementation of that policy. Perhaps this is why almost all economic policies implemented during Pak SBY presidency were effectively reached the targets. Despite successful economic performances during his two presidential terms, economic situation had not always been ideal. There were major exogenous shocks, such as Aceh Nias earthquakes, late 2004, earthquakes and tsunami, upward pressures of fuel prices in 2005, and the 2008 global economic crisis that created volatilities and economic uncertainties. Under these situations, policymaking became very complex. Recovering and reconstructing Aceh and Nias took up significant fiscal resources, leading to fiscal deficits. Thus, rising fuel prices might reduce the fiscal deficit. However, rising fuel price brings about policy dilemma. It may lessen the fiscal burden, but more people would fall below the poverty line. When fuel prices were not raised, poor people stay undisturbed in the short run, but fiscal condition becomes more restricted, narrowing spaces for development programs. President Yudhoyono was not in a hurry to make decisions. With thorough and careful consideration, he raised fuel prices. At the same time, created social safety net in the form of direct transfer or BLT to the poor. So actually, it's not a policy delay. Rather, it is the preparation of these measures that took several weeks. As a result, poverty in the short run indeed increased, but in the long run, it had reduced from more than 24% to only 11%. With regard to the way President Yudhoyono overcome effects of the 2008 global economic crisis, I witnesses that he is a leader whom never stopped learning. I remember around the crisis time, Pak SBY through the ADC asked me to come to Cikeas. On the desk, there were many books, mostly newly bought. Pak SBY had already written a speech manuscript by hand. After learning such many books, he prepared the speech by himself to be delivered, if I'm not mistaken, in the G20 meeting. He said to me more or less, this crisis is a new one and considerably different from previous crises. None of these books describe similar to this global crisis. So the solution to overcome effects of the crisis should be of different measures. Nevertheless, Pak SBY then lent the books to me to study, and also give me a copy of the speech manuscript, requesting possible feedback to enrich the manuscript. My point in this is that although very busy as president, he continuously acquires new knowledge, never stop learning. Equipped with knowledge enables the leader to comprehend problems and to undertake and implement the required policies successfully. To conclude, there are so many things could be learned from Bapak SBY. His high personal quality, successful leadership, and inspiring experiences. And these all are well written in the Standing Firm Indonesia Democracy book. Students, prospective and young leaders, not so young leaders, and even academia should read the book. After learning the book, I believe one would get motivated and may be willing to put best efforts to be an excellent leader like Bapak SBY at his or her own level, hopefully. Thank you very much.